Family and friends demanding answers this morning after a man working security at a bar is shot and killed by police.
CBS News' V Wynn is live in Robbins with more on their push for justice. Good morning, V.
Good morning, Marissa. And Aaron, family and friends believe this was a case of mistaken identity and say that police got the wrong person. They say Jemel Roberson was trying to protect customers here at this bar when he was shot by Midlothian police. Now, 26-year-old Jemel Roberson is being described by his church community as a hard worker. He was a musician who loved to play gospel music and had plans to become a police officer. But Saturday night, he was working part-time security at Manny's Luxury Lounge when witnesses say a fight broke out and someone started shooting. 4 people were shot. Witnesses say Roberson was armed, holding down the gunman when a Midlothian police officer arrived on scene and shot him. Cell phone video taken by a witness shows the chaotic scene. Adam Harris says he was in the bar when the initial shooting happened.
I ducked down in the bar. Then when it, got calm and we went out, we saw the security guard that got killed last night. He had somebody on the ground with his knee in his back with his gun on him, like, don't move. Everybody was screaming out security. He was a security guard.
Now, this investigation is now being handled by state police and the Cook County Sheriff's Department. We have also reached out to the owner of this bar for a comment, but we have not heard back. Reporting live in Robbins, V Wynn, CBS 2 News. Marissa, back to you.
All right, V, we'll check back with you in a bit. Thank you.
Usually, I try to stay away from these type of videos when it comes to mass shootings and then police shootings, because I feel like, what can I really say about this that hasn't been said already? But this one is kind of different. This one actually hits, home, not on a personal level because I wasn't related to this man, but for, the guys that, watching this that know me personally or just in general, I've actually lived in Robbins before. I know about that. It's a south suburb of Chicago. Like, I actually have relatives who've actually been to that bar. So I know personally that could have been my aunt, that could have been my mother, that could have been some of my cousins that could have been potentially killed in that bar, in that situation. So I really just want to know one thing. What's the justification for this time? Didn't resist arrest. Wasn't the person that should have been getting arrested. Gun he had on him was legal. He was a security guard. He was doing his goddamn job. In fact, he was a hero in this situation. So why is he dead? Didn't have any drugs or anything on him. He wasn't a criminal. In fact, he wanted to be a police officer. A lot of times when these murders happen, a lot of people jump the gun on both sides. Usually it's all, they were bogus for that. They shouldn't have killed that man. Well, there are some rare situations I've seen where, the police were actually justified in killing people. I know that sounds bad. Oh, did you just say that black men should be killed? That's not what I'm saying. For example, out here in Chicago, over east, one of the men actually pulled out a gun on a police officer first. You got to think, as a police officer, don't you want to go home to your family too? If you're in a high crime and gang neighborhood and a person ups a gun on you, you're going to be thinking about your life too. I get that. I understand that. Not everything is race related. Not everything is technically police brutality. But again, you have people on the opposite side of that spectrum. Oh, dude's a thug. Dude's a criminal. All these people are alike. The officer feared for his life. He was a hero with a gun in this situation. How do you explain this? They even yelled, he's the security guard. Don't shoot him. And what did he do? He shot him. I really try my best not to bring race into everything. In a lot of these situations, I feel like only 50% of my involvement race. But I mean, come on now. You can't ignore this time. What do you do as a person? How do you go home and explain to your wife and kids, well, dad or husband, why did you shoot that man? He was innocent. He was a security guard. They mind you, they told him, do not shoot him. He's not the person at fault in the situation. How do you explain that to your family? What do you say to them? Oh yeah, my bad. I shot before I thought. What do you do? That makes no sense. He should be facing a murder case for this. Not paid leave. Not, being suspended from his job. None of that shit. This is murder. People are so quick to use statistics to bring up, black on black crime and talk about, the murder rate in Chicago, talk about how violent black people are and use all these, all the statistic data that doesn't take into fact a lot of things to justify, bigotry towards our people. But when the police kill black people or just minorities or people in general, there's always a fucking excuse. Blue lives matter and all this extra shit. But nobody understands this from our perspective. Because you instantly take a police officer's side, or you at least try to look at it from a police officer's side, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're racist. Because I say this every time I make a video like this, or just in general, life is about perspective. Life is about your own experience. Life is about how you see things. I feel like the media, controls people through fear and emotions all the time. If you live way out in the suburbs, somewhere in Naperville, or you live out of state or in another country, and you watch the news on Chicago, you're probably gonna think, well, damn, it's nothing but killing and gangbanging and all types of shit, going on. You might be thinking, well, maybe the police really did fear for their life, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you have a family member that was a police officer that told you certain things. That doesn't necessarily mean that you hate black people. But at the same time, I feel like that same narrative promotes the fact that, yeah, black people are just animals and all this type of shit. Because these police officers are never fucking held accountable for this shit. I get it. You might be put in a position where you fear for your life. But what about this situation? You're an officer of the law. You're supposed to serve people, not kill people. That should be your last resort to anything. And then, second of all, this is the thing that nobody's fucking thinking of. You didn't have to shoot anybody. When you arrived on the scene, security guard's knee was in the person's back with a gun to their head. So why did you need to fire anybody? Why the fuck are these police officers so trigger happy? So you see what I'm saying? How was it a case of mistaken identity? We haven't even seen what these people that started the fight in the bar look like. Nobody's questioning this shit. Why was he just shooting wildly in the first place? So again, racism does not have to do with every situation. Not everything is fucking black on white. But come on now, you really expect me to believe that this dude didn't go rushing in? Oh, I'm finna kill me a motherfucker today. I'm finna shoot a black person. I'm gonna be a hero anyway. All these motherfuckers look alike. If not that, this dude still shouldn't be a police officer, because I don't give a fuck if those were white people over there in Manny's Blue Room. You can't just go into a situation and just start fucking shooting. Now, this is kind of a reach, but I don't know. What if a bullet had a ricochet and then hit a random person other than him? Or, I mean, it's a bar, so obviously children won't be there. But if this situation had happened, what would it have taken for him to have killed a child? And I can't even say that, because there are situations where I've seen in the news where a police officer has raided a place and then shot children before. He still didn't face any jail time. So, again, I'm not trying to raise bait, but what the fuck is going through these police officers' mind when they just shoot us like this? You would think after all of these, Michael Browns or Alton Sterling and all these situations, you would think maybe they'd think, maybe I want to, tread thin on water. Maybe I should think about what I do. I don't want to be the next police officer on CNN for killing a black person. You would think they would at least think about that. But obviously he didn't. He just said, fuck it, I'm just going guns blazing and just shoot a nigga today, right? So again, racism does not have to do with every situation. Not everything is fucking black on white. But come on now, you really expect me to believe that this dude didn't go rushing in? Oh, I'm finna kill me a motherfucker today. I'm finna shoot a black person. I'm gonna be a hero anyway. All these motherfuckers look alike. If not that, this dude still shouldn't be a police officer, because I don't give a fuck if those were white people over there in Manny's Blue Room. You can't just go into a situation and just start fucking shooting. Now, this is kind of a reach, but I don't know. What if a bullet had a ricochet and then hit a random person other than him? Or, I mean, it's a bar, so obviously children won't be there. But if this situation had happened, what would it have taken for him to have killed a child? And I can't even say that, because there are situations where I've seen in the news where a police officer has raided a place and then shot children before. He still didn't face any jail time. So Again, I'm not trying to race bait, but what the fuck is going through these police officers' mind when they just shoot us like this? You would think after all of these, you know, Michael Browns or Alton Sterling and all these situations, you would think maybe they'd think, maybe I want to, you know, tread thin on water. You know, maybe I should think about what I do. I don't want to be the next police officer on CNN for killing a black person. You would think they would at least think about that. But obviously he didn't. He just said, fuck it, I'm just going guns blazing and just shoot a nigga today, right? I'm being a little bit facetious, you know, a lot more than I would usually, but I get tired of hearing this shit. I get tired of watching this shit in the news. This is why I don't do videos on this. Because if I did a video, you know, and share my opinion every time a black person got gunned down by the police, I'd be making videos every fucking day, or at least every other week, because this shit happens all the time. But this is something else that nobody really wants to talk about either. What about black on black crime? What about when we kill each other in the hood? I would be making videos probably every hour then. Nobody really talks about that. But at the same time, that's not really a justification for police shootings. I hate when people bring up, oh, well, what about gang violence and all that? Yeah, but what about you're supposed to be an officer of the law and you're not supposed to kill innocent people? Or, you know, your first resort shouldn't be killing anybody at all. So I already know somebody's going to try to come with that bullshit. But anyway, what do you guys think?